Was a new Brendon Small signature guitar leaked today? I think so. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. We've had the Thunderhorse, we've had the Snow Falcons, but now we're getting the Ghosthorse Explorer. Okay, so we've kind of known about this whole Brendon Small signature guitar from Epiphone for a while, but we might not have been like 100% sure on the specs, but one of these actually showed up on Reverb today, and I'm guessing they were one day too quick to the punch on this one. This was listed by Sam Ash San Antonio, and it was about Monday late afternoon. And it's not the first time this model's been leaked. AMS accidentally posted it on their website quite some time ago. In fact, about 6 months too early. But will we see these get released today? I'm thinking so. Because Tuesday seems to be the day that Epiphone releases new stuff. Last week we got the official video of the Emily Wolf Sheraton. And this other post by Brendon, about a month ago, teases this even further. It looks like they were shooting the shots right here. And Cesar liked this post, so you know it's gotta be coming soon. But anyways, let's take a look at this thing. I have always been a big fan of his signature guitars because there's always something for everyone out there. In fact, I've pretty much reviewed them all. I've had a few of the original Snow Falcons, but one of my most proud episodes is this Epiphone Snow Falcon review, because I really pushed my playing abilities for the intro skit on this, and I just loved the way that it turned out, all influenced by his music. But his Flying V's were just sweet in general, and all white with the phenolic white fretboard, the Thunderhorse Explorer, who doesn't love the Thunderhorse song? And it's a Silver Burst Explorer with binding, yes, fantastic guitars. And his Gibson signatures, they were birthed, early 2010s, 2011, looks like this guy was 2013-ish, and the Epiphones followed suit. So it's nice to see he's getting something new, but it appears that he's really taken this Explorer to the next realm. So no longer do we have a stop bar tailpiece, we have some sort of a Floyd Rose system. And kind of peculiarly enough on an Explorer, instead of having 3 controls, it's probably just a master volume, master tone, with a toggle switch up here. But the biggest thing is, check this out, 24 frets. Honestly, it's looking a lot like the Epiphone Prophecy series Explorer, the Xtura, except for we get a Floyd Rose now instead of the stop bar tailpiece. But these guys are $899. Whereas this signature guitar is actually going to be $100 cheaper, if we can believe this price anyways. We get kind of like a smoky ash burst color. Dark border with gray. Looks like we've got some binding along here. As far as our inlays, not quite as fancy as the Prophecy series, just a couple of dots, and then it looks like we have the Galacticon emblem at the 12th fret. But switching over to the back, maybe it's just because this is a satin finish that this looks a little bit more sculpted as compared to the Prophecy series. But that could just very well be photo angles. But check out those back plates. That looks kind of strange there. But I bet it plays great, 24 frets with a superior upper fret access. As far as the headstock, it looks pretty basic to me, just branded Epiphone, and you've got the locking nut system. And I like this. Once again, you get the Galacticon logo right there. I think that's the first time we've seen his name on one of his signature instruments. Usually it was just some sort of an emblem like they have here. But check that out, they even have the Allen wrenches that you'll need. Looks like we're rocking an ebony fretboard as well. And it is completely bound on the body and the neck. And it looks like this listing actually comes with a case. I doubt that's stock, but I guess it could be. Only time will tell. So it's kind of a cool Explorer, but unfortunately this is the first Brendon Small signature I'm really not that excited for. And I love Explorers, but for me, I'm not real big on Floyd Roses, but I can understand why he might want one on one of his signature guitars, and fans have been asking him for that. But if they're only going to be $800, I bet these things are going to sell, because once again, they're cheaper than this, maybe a little bit less fancy depending on what your tastes are. I mean, the inlays on this are fancier. I'm not sure what kind of pickups we're putting in here yet, because they don't really have detailed specs. I'm sure we'll find out soon. But it looks like they're being made in China. But I think the other thing for me is I'm just not a big fan of the finish choice. I mean, I get it, the Ghosthorse. There's only so many color options you can do, and it definitely looks better in the real photos than it did in the stock photos. So maybe it's just one of those things that you have to get it in person, because this honestly looks pretty good to me, whereas this not quite as attractive. So I think it'll also depend on the example that you happen to find. But he's been posting this for a long time, so it's kind of exciting to see this coming out. But part of the reason that I'm upset that this Ghosthorse is coming out is because I've been waiting for this. This was teased on his Instagram, 186 weeks ago? It's actually been even more than that. I think it was 5 or 6 years if you go back to the first time that he posted the Snowhorse. Gibson, please, make this thing happen. It's a blending of the Snow Falcon and the Thunder Horse, and it is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. They brought back the phenolic fretboard. You get the same type of finish on the body, but check this out, a reverse headstock on an Explorer. It just feels so powerful to wield. I mean, I haven't even held the guitar in my hands, and I know that it would be fantastic. Because check this out, we don't even get a pickguard on this thing, just like the new Ghosthorse. But look at this. Interestingly enough, it's a Les Paul layout. You get 2 volumes and 2 tones, so that's interesting in and of itself as well. And I think he likes the Birchbucker 2 and 3s, if I remember correctly. It's either that or the 1 and 2s. But this is a fantastic guitar that needs to be put into production right away. And I'm hoping, now that we've got this other Epiphone coming, that they're working on this next. And even though this started under old Gibson ownership, you can see back here, March 2019, Cesar did like this post that he had of this. So maybe, just maybe, they are working on this. And when this thing launches, that's when I'm gonna get really excited. Because that is a statement piece that stands out. It's more than just a unique finish. It's more than just a signature guitar. It's got so many cool specs. Like, I want this guitar so bad. I think it was like 2 years ago when I first saw this thing. I reached out to him as like, hey, can I borrow that guitar for a video? Here's a different prototype that has the regular Explorer layout. I think I would go for the Les Paul style just so it's another talking point that makes it different, but I'm sure the Explorer guys probably like their 3 in a row. And this one also has a pickguard. You know, that doesn't actually look half bad. Now that I'm seeing that, it makes it hard to choose between them. Maybe that's why it never went into production. He couldn't choose. I think it looks good both ways, but I think if you're going to leave the pickguard off, you should definitely leave it like that. But check this out. He also had some additional prototypes. What was this? Back in mid-2016. So we get the Snowhorse, and then we get this like Dark Knight, and kind of like a repeat of the Thunder Horse, but without a pickguard. This one utilizes kind of like an 80s Explorer layout. That's kind of cool. All in all, I can't say I dig that one too much. Maybe if it had the reversed headstock like these other two, I would like it a bit more, but it feels like a bit redundant. We've had the Gibson version, we've had the Epiphone version. This is kind of a take off the Thunder Horse, but with different pickups, different layout. Not quite. And at first, I did not like this one at all, until I read his description. He was saying he's going to add cream binding to it with zebra pickups, but I didn't realize that it was a charcoal black burst. So this does have a really dark border, but then it's like a charcoal color. So it's like 2 different versions of black. I could see that working really well. I just don't think this photo did it justice. The zebra pickups, they might work. It probably looks okay as a blackout as well. I'd be interested to see the Snowhorse and its counterpart, whatever he wants to call it. The Dark Horse or whatnot. As he asked the question about these 3 prototypes, which one would I buy today? It would be this one though, hands down. As a Gibson USA, I bet they could get $3,000 a pop. But I think it'd be really cool to see a custom shop release because they have not done custom shop for Brendon yet. And I think he's an artist that deserves it, because apparently he can sell signature guitars pretty good. But here's another photo of that other silver burst that I didn't quite like as much. This photo, it looks pretty good. That white binding really stands out on that one, and no fret markers. But in scouring Mr. Small's Instagram, I found, you know, there's another reason why I like this guy is he has so many cool guitars in his collection, and they're things that I would also enjoy. So right here, he's got an Appetite for Destruction Les Paul. It's to the point where I actually associate this guitar with Brendon Small more so than I do Slash because of this video when he plays Thunder Horse on it. But some other cool guitars in his collection that he's posted. One of the SGCM Blacks. Maybe this is the reason why he wanted to get like a traditional Floyd Rose on a guitar. He's got one of the Guitar of the Week SG3s. I haven't documented one of these, but I've documented one of the single coil versions that has the chicken head knob that selects between 3 pickups on an SG. These things are pretty cool. Looks like he used it to record the Comet song. Oh, and hey, wouldn't you know it, he owns a Buckethead studio. It kind of makes sense that he would have one of these because they were birthed around the same time. So he was probably at the Gibson factory. He's like, hey, I'm going to take this one home. Is that okay? But check this out, a 12-string SG. I missed one of these at the Gibson demo shop, like right when it opened up. That's one of my biggest regrets not getting that, because finding these at reasonable prices is difficult. But if I remember correctly, they made cherry versions and this tobacco sunburst. Not many of those kicking around, and usually when they show up, they're about $3,500. And I was surprised to see he's one of the few users that made use of the HDX Pro. He was saying what he likes about this thing is it's got a box that you can take 6 lines out, you know, 1 for each string. So in one of his things, he panned the top 2 strings like all the way to the left just because he can, and he thought it sounded good. Even though a lot of people think this is a robot guitar, it was actually something completely different, and nobody ever talks about these things. I probably wouldn't be the right guy to demo this, but it's kind of an interesting guitar I'm sure we'll run into one day. But I was really surprised to see a vintage Gibson E2 in his collection. So this was when Gibson was reimagining the Explorer in the 80s. Well, I guess technically in 1979, but most people associate this with 1980 until about 84. These things had a flame maple veneer. It's not paper thin, but it's not like a full-on Les Paul top. But they also got binding. And reading his description here, he got it on eBay years ago, but this was the guitar that was the inspiration of Thunderhorse, and it's like, it all makes sense why he likes bound Explorers. He fell in love with this guitar. So in many ways, the E2 just got like 10 times cooler in my opinion. But to be honest, I would not be sad if Gibson just did a straight up reissue Gibson USA line, $2,500 of the E2. I really think they would sell. Maybe not on the custom shop level, but definitely on the USA. But then the last guitar that we're going to talk about today is this bad boy. He had them make a 7-string Thunderhorse. I love it. I know they've done the SGs, they've done the Les Pauls, but you rarely ever see the 7-string Explorers. So the fact that there's a silver burst one with binding, he even went as far as having the custom block inlays on this, zebra pickups. That's really cool to see a 7-string Explorer. I don't know if they should bring this thing out into production. I mean, a small limited run, yeah, I'm sure they can easily sell them. But I guess since he's got the Floyd Rose out of the way, maybe this will be the next one, 7 strings. So that's going to be the end of Guitar Talk this episode, but I did just want to take a couple of minutes to appreciate his dog. He took some real cracking shots over the years of his little companion here. I thought I'd share these. This one, just a perfect blunt face. It's like, are you kidding me? But at the same time, this pooch can be really happy. It's just like, come rub my belly. I don't even know how he got his dog to smile like that. Like, it's not just the face, like you just happen to catch him when he's biting his lip or something. It's the eyes. His eyes are smiling at you. The ears are just down to his side. It's perfect. But yet, he can also be very alert. I could see that being like a canvas print. At the same time, he can be goofy. This one, he's got him as a sleepy pooch. There's quite a few photos of his dog sitting like a human. That's kind of unsettling but cool at the same time. But my absolute favorite photo that he was able to capture was this one. It's that charcoal burst one. His dog's just there. I feel like that could be transformed into a meme. Alright, troglodytes. Thank you for tuning in today. Let me know your thoughts about the new Brendon Small Ghosthorse. And we'll catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.